They watch your every move, mimic your every style, and whisper your name when you leave the room. But guess what, Spirit Warrior? It's not admiration anymore, it's obsession. Have you ever felt like people were just a little too interested in your life, even when you've done nothing to seek attention, like they're fixated on your presence, but can't even explain why? Let me tell you a story about a spirit warrior named Amani. She didn't dress loud, didn't talk much, and wasn't trying to be noticed. But somehow, wherever she went, eyes followed. People started copying her speech, dressing like her, hanging out in the places she frequented. One day she overheard a group gossiping about what she liked for lunch. It was bizarre, and it hit her. This wasn't flattery, it was spiritual surveillance. Because when you carry divine energy, you become a walking revelation. Chosen ones, the obsession people have with you isn't normal. It's not about you per se, it's about what's inside you. They're drawn to your light, but don't understand why it bothers them and fascinates them at the same time. Why do you trigger people you barely speak to? Why do they imitate you and then compete with you? Why are people so addicted to your energy that it's becoming embarrassing for them? Oh, we're getting into it today. As Carl Jung once said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. What people see in you, chosen one, is what they lack in themselves. And instead of going inward, they go after you. Spirit warriors, this isn't just a video, it's a mirror. You're not going crazy. You're not imagining the stares, the copycats, the weird energy. They are watching, and we're going to decode why. Stay with me till the end, because each of the 7 revelations in this message will help you awaken even deeper on your spiritual path and help you handle this divine attention with strength, grace, and godly fire. Let's expose what's really happening when people's obsession with you starts getting ridiculous. Let's break it down step by step. Point 1. Your energy announces you before you speak. Chosen ones, let's talk about your presence, not the clothes you wear, not the words you say, but the force of energy you carry into every room. Because here's the truth. When you walk in, people feel you before they even lay eyes on you. It's like the atmosphere shifts. Heads turn, conversations pause, eyes dart in your direction without knowing why. That's not coincidence. That's spiritual resonance. That's your aura doing the talking before you even say a word. So you're not just walking into spaces, you're disrupting frequencies. Your energy carries weight, and whether people admit it or not, they sense something different about you. It's because your spirit doesn't just exist, it announces itself. Even if you're the most reserved person in the room, you radiate a certain presence, a quiet, unshakable force that makes others stop and take notice. You don't demand attention, you command it just by being aligned with who you are. That power doesn't come from ego, it comes from Godfidence, that deep divine assurance that you are walking with purpose, protected by grace, and chosen for more than what meets the eye. You don't beg for validation because you're already validated by the highest authority. That kind of confidence isn't loud, it doesn't boast, but it sends shockwaves through the souls of people still chained to people-pleasing performance and pretense. And here's where it gets fascinating. When you're not easily figured out, people start obsessing. There's something about you that won't let them rest. You didn't even do anything, yet they can't stop thinking about you. You become a spiritual itch they can't scratch. They try to box you in, label you, understand you, but you don't fit in their categories. You're too deep to be shallow, too wise to be fooled, and too aware to play along. You make people confront the parts of themselves they've been avoiding. That confusion turns into curiosity. Curiosity becomes fixation. And before they know it, they're spiritually hooked, trying to solve the mystery that is you. There's actual science to this too. Studies in social psychology show that mystery and unpredictability increase attraction and interest. The human brain craves patterns, but when it encounters someone who doesn't follow predictable behavior, it becomes hyper-focused on figuring that person out. You, chosen one, are a divine anomaly. You break the pattern, and that's why they can't look away. But don't get it twisted. Not everyone who's drawn to your light has good intentions. Some are fascinated because they admire you. Others are obsessed because your presence threatens their ego. They see in you what they've denied in themselves: authenticity, truth, alignment, and purpose. Your existence becomes a mirror. And not everyone likes what's staring back at them. You expose masks just by being real. You highlight insecurity just by standing in your power. And sometimes that unnerves people so much they'll try to dim your light just to feel okay in your shadow. But you weren't made to shrink. You were made to shine. So don't second guess that disorienting effect you have on people. It's not arrogance, it's anointing. It's not you they're reacting to. It's the spiritual authority you carry. God puts something on your life that causes the enemy to tremble and the insecure to scatter. You don't have to change, explain, or downplay who you are. Let them whisper, let them wonder, let them obsess. That's not your concern. Your only job is to keep walking in purpose. Let your aura lead. Let your peace speak louder than your words. Let your presence continue to confuse the ones who try to define you and inspire the ones who are called to walk with you. Because when you're chosen, the room doesn't change you. You change the room. Point 2, they don't understand how you stay calm under pressure. People are watching you, hoping you'll fall apart. Not because they truly want to see you suffer, but because your strength, your spirit, and your grace under pressure highlight their own insecurities. You make surviving look too effortless, and that confuses them. They expect cracks, chaos, or a meltdown because that's what they would do in your shoes. But you, spirit warrior, you don't fall apart. You might cry behind closed doors, you might fall to your knees in prayer, but when you rise, it's not in the same spirit. You rise in power. See, what they don't realize is that your resilience isn't just grit, it's spiritual. It's forged in sacred fire. You don't just go through battles, you go through divine training. Every tear you cry in secret is a battle strategy in disguise. You're not just surviving, you're building spiritual muscle. Studies in psychology show that resilience is one of the greatest predictors of long-term success and emotional stability. But you take it a step further. Your resilience is rooted in something deeper than mindset. It's rooted in faith. When you remain calm in the face of pressure, people don't always applaud. In fact, many become uncomfortable. Why? Because your peace exposes their panic. Your grace highlights their chaos. Your discipline echoes where they lack control. You are, in many ways, a mirror. And unfortunately, most people don't like their own reflection when it's contrasted with your quiet power. That's why they try to provoke you, test you, question you. They want to prove to themselves that you're just like them, fragile, reactive, easily shaken. But when you don't fall apart, when you don't lash out, when you don't crumble, they're forced to confront an uncomfortable truth. Their strength is surface level. Yours is sacred. That envy they carry, it doesn't always come out as jealousy. Sometimes it disguises itself as criticism, mockery, or subtle sabotage. But deep down, they're fixated. Not because they hate you, but because they can't stop watching. They don't understand how someone can go through so much and still walk with their head high. They don't get how you take betrayal and turn it into wisdom. They don't know how you face rejection and still shine brighter. They watch, hoping for your downfall, but get confused when your setbacks only sharpen your sword. Let's get this clear. Your composure isn't passive. It's a weapon. It's spiritual armor. In a world that screams louder, you've learned the language of stillness. That's not weakness. That's strategy. Spirit warriors don't need to announce their strength. It radiates. It shows in the way you walk into a room, in how you handle disrespect without drama, in how you trust divine timing instead of forcing outcomes. That alone is unsettling to those who rely on control, manipulation, or external validation to feel secure. But here's the twist. Even though they watch you with envy, even though they hope you fail, God is using your journey to teach them through you. Your endurance becomes their lesson. Your growth becomes their conviction. Your comeback becomes their classroom. They might have underestimated you, but now they're taking notes. And it's not out of admiration, it's out of necessity. Because whether they like it or not, you are the example. So don't get bitter. Don't let their opinions distract you. Your spiritual evolution isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's about proving God right. Let them sit in their confusion, their regret, and their silent awe. Let them wonder how you keep rising, how you keep glowing, how you keep moving forward like nothing touches you. And while they fixate, you elevate. You don't crumble under pressure. You convert pressure into power. That's the mark of a true spirit warrior. That's you. Point 3, you have what they can't fake. Authenticity isn't something you learn from a self-help book or a 5-step YouTube video. It's not a trend, it's not an aesthetic. It's a divine fingerprint, a spiritual signature imprinted on your soul by God Himself. And chosen one, you walk with it every single day, whether you realize it or not. You didn't borrow your essence from someone else. You didn't rehearse it in the mirror. It flows through you like a current, natural, spirit-led, and unfiltered. That's why people watch you so closely. That's why they can't stop staring, scrolling, and whispering. You're not just living, you're embodying something they can't quite grasp, and it drives them wild. See, when you walk into a room, your energy shifts the atmosphere, not because you're loud or flashy, but because you're real. You're in alignment with your purpose. You speak with clarity, move with intention, and carry a peace that the world didn't give and the world can't take away. That's the thing. Your authenticity is not just personal, it's spiritual, it's prophetic, it's powerful, and they know it. That's why some people try to replicate your swag, your rhythm, and your mindset. They mirror your style, imitate your lingo, and even quote your thoughts. But somehow it doesn't land the same. It's like watching someone wear a crown that doesn't belong to them. It tilts, it slips, it looks off. Because authenticity, real authenticity, can't be copy-pasted. It can't be bought, borrowed, or bootlegged. What you have is deeply rooted in divine connection. That glow you carry. It's not just self-confidence, it's spirit-led discernment. It's wisdom passed down through fire, lessons learned in silence, tears cried in secret, victories celebrated in solitude. You don't just know things, you understand them. And you don't understand because you studied, though you might have, but because your soul is tapped into something higher, a source, the source. That's why people find themselves oddly fascinated with you. You're not doing anything extra, and yet you stand out. You're not even trying to go viral, but your aura is unforgettable. So what happens next? They become watchers. Silent subscribers to your life. They study your moves like it's a masterclass. They stalk your social media like it's scripture. They even keep tabs through mutual friends just to see what you're up to. Not out of malice, but confusion, obsession, frustration. Because no matter how closely they watch, they can't capture your secret source. It's not in your clothes, your captions, or your career, it's in your calling. And that's not something you can teach, it's something you are. But here's the key. Chosen one, don't let it change you. Don't let their curiosity make you shrink. Don't let their mimicry make you bitter. You were born to be a blueprint, not a clone. You were never supposed to blend in. You were meant to break molds. And if your light exposes their shadows, so be it. That's between them and their own inner work. You're not responsible for their envy. You're responsible for staying true to who you are. Your authenticity is sacred. Guard it, protect it, but don't ever hide it. You're not just walking in purpose. You are purpose in motion. You're the example they didn't know they needed. And while they may never say it out loud, they know deep down you are the original, not the replica. You are the wave, not the echo. So keep glowing, keep growing, and keep showing up in your divine fullness. Let them watch, let them wonder, let them mimic. Because no matter how closely they follow your footsteps, your journey will always be uniquely yours. And your authenticity, your divine glow, will always be one thing they can never download. Point 4. You expose their shadows without trying. There's something powerful, almost unsettling about a person who walks in quiet authenticity. Someone who doesn't need to announce their presence, doesn't throw shade, and doesn't clap back, yet somehow, without a word, causes others to shift uncomfortably in their seats. That person might be you. And no, you're not imagining it. Some people are genuinely triggered by your presence. Not because you've wronged them, but because your very existence reminds them of what they're avoiding within themselves. You don't even call people out, but your presence convicts them. It's not what you say, it's who you are. You radiate truth, self-awareness, peace, and spiritual alignment. That kind of energy, it's like a mirror. And when people who are hiding behind masks, lies, or self-deception encounter a mirror, they don't like what they see. Your light exposes what they've buried deep. It highlights the contrast, the tension between who they pretend to be and who they were meant to become. That exposure isn't malicious. You're not trying to bring anyone down, but growth is uncomfortable, and rather than facing that discomfort, many choose to deflect it. This is where projection enters the chat. Instead of asking themselves why they feel insecure or uneasy around you, they look for flaws in you. Instead of asking, what can I learn from this person's strength, peace, or purpose? They decide you must be too much, fake, arrogant, or somehow threatening. And since you won't stoop to their level or engage in petty drama, their response becomes even more extreme. They gossip, they mock, they stalk your every move on social media. They watch in silence, secretly hoping to find cracks in your armor, moments of weakness they can pounce on. But here's the catch. They never stop watching. Why? Because deep down they're fascinated. They're drawn to your light even as it unsettles them. Light by nature reveals. And spiritually speaking, when someone walks in alignment with purpose, with truth, with God, it becomes impossible for others to ignore their own misalignment. That's the unspoken tension you feel, that awkward energy in rooms where people either light up around you or suddenly grow cold. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just being you. And that's enough to rattle anyone who's still lost in pretense. But here's where the lesson comes in. Don't get bitter, get better. It's tempting to want to clear your name, to confront the gossipers, and to explain yourself. But you don't need to. You don't need to lower your frequency to match theirs. You don't need to perform for people who've already decided to misunderstand you. As the saying goes, your success will be your sound. Let your growth speak louder than their projections. Let your peace irritate their chaos. And don't forget, God often uses those enemies, doubters and critics as unwilling participants in your elevation. They're your character builders. Sometimes they're the ones who indirectly promote you, because in trying to discredit you, they draw even more attention to your authenticity. They become your footstool as promised in Psalm 110. 1. Sit at my right hand until I make your enemies a footstool for your feet. Their regret, confusion, and conviction, that's between them and their conscience. Let them sit with it. Your job is to keep shining, keep evolving, keep choosing the higher path. You weren't made to shrink so others could feel comfortable in their avoidance. You were made to be a lighthouse. And lighthouses don't chase boats. They stand firm, shining bright, guiding those who are ready and exposing those who aren't. So when they gossip, project, or glare, smile. You're not the problem. You're just the proof that healing is possible, and that terrifies those still clinging to their wounds. Keep rising, because whether they admit it or not, they're watching. And deep down, part of them wishes they could walk in that same light. Point 5. They want access, but not accountability. They want access, not alignment. When your peace becomes their obsession. People don't always get close to you because they love you. Sometimes it's curiosity, masked as care. Sometimes it's envy disguised as admiration, and sometimes it's an obsession with your light. Not because they want to bask in it with you, but because they want to figure out how you shine so brightly without needing them. Here's the truth. People are drawn to what they don't understand. If you're someone who walks with unshakable peace, quiet confidence, or spiritual clarity, you will naturally attract both lovers and leeches. It's the law of human behavior. What people can't easily define, they try to dissect, and that includes you. You see, some people don't want to genuinely support your growth. They want to study it. You become a walking case study. They analyze your every move, not out of admiration, but because they want to understand what makes you elevate while they're still stuck. They crave your presence not for connection, but for access. Access to your mind, your calm, your wisdom, and your elevation. Your peace to them is addictive, but also confusing. But here's where it gets interesting. When you start holding up boundaries, when you stop answering every call, offering your time, your energy, your empathy, they panic. Why? Because boundaries are filters. They separate the genuinely aligned from the secretly entitled. And when you stop offering the emotional concierge service, that's when their true intentions get exposed. You were never meant to be their therapist, their life coach, or their savior. But they start behaving like they own pieces of you, like they're owed your advice, your attention, and your time. They start resenting the very thing they claim to admire, your independence. Because your boundaries remind them that your peace wasn't for sale, that your emotional clarity wasn't community property. Psychologically, this panic comes from a sudden shift in perceived control. Studies in behavioral science show that when people feel they're losing influence over someone, they act out. Their ego interprets your detachment as a threat, so they get louder, more dramatic. They might even try guilt-tripping, smear campaigns, or passive-aggressive remarks. That's not love. It's control wearing a friendly disguise. This is when the obsession turns dramatic. When people realize they can't control you, can't get you to react, and can't access you like before, they spiral. Your silence, your boundaries, your refusal to entertain their emotional chaos. It becomes an ego wound for them. Because deep down, they weren't just trying to get close to you, they were trying to contain you. But here's the beauty: you're not responsible for managing someone else's emotional response to your self-respect. Let that sink in. It's not your job to shrink your light so they feel more comfortable in their shadows. When you pull back, it's not cruelty, it's clarity. It's not rejection, it's redirection. And yes, it will sting for them, because what they studied was access, not intimacy. What they wanted was your peace, not your presence. And now that you've taken both off the table, they're forced to sit with their own noise, their own chaos. That's where the real panic comes from. You've shown them what alignment looks like, and now they can't unsee it. So don't feel guilty for protecting your space. Don't second-guess your instincts. When people become desperate for your energy, it means they were never respecting your humanity in the first place. They were consuming you. And you are not a product. You are a person, a powerful one that God has covered, preserved, and called for higher things. Let them study from a distance while you rise in peace. The obsession is not your problem. It's the consequence of you walking in your purpose unapologetically. Keep shining, keep growing, keep your boundaries intact. Those meant for you will honor them. The rest will expose themselves by how loudly they protest your silence. Point 6, you shine even when you're silent. You don't need to show off. You don't need to explain yourself, prove your worth, or parade your life like a circus act. Why? Because your silence, pure intentional silence, is already speaking louder than any performance ever could. And spirit warriors, don't be surprised when your silence begins to haunt people. Not everyone can handle someone who isn't constantly seeking applause, especially in a world where oversharing is the norm. Your restraint is radical. See, silence is powerful because it disrupts patterns. People are conditioned to expect loudness, loud achievements, loud complaints, and loud emotions. But when you walk into a room and say nothing, when you move without needing attention, when you post without explaining, when you live without justifying, it rattles them. You become unpredictable, and to those who thrive on control or gossip, that unpredictability is terrifying. They can't categorize you, they can't label you, so instead they speculate. Here's the funny part. While you're focused on your growth, they're obsessing over your mystery. They'll stalk your social media, not out of admiration, but out of curiosity mixed with insecurity. They'll zoom in on your photos, trying to detect meaning in a smile, in a caption, or in the background of your reflection. They'll analyze your outfit like it's some spiritual code. What does this mean? Who are they with? Why do they look so unbothered? It's both hilarious and revealing. Because the truth is, your peace is provoking. According to psychological studies, silence often makes people more anxious than confrontation. Why? Because silence removes control. When you don't react, people lose the ability to manipulate your emotions. When you don't respond, they're left to sit in their own thoughts. And that, my friends, is a mirror many don't want to face. That's when the projections begin. They create entire narratives in their heads about what you're thinking, what you're doing, and what your next move will be. Your quiet confidence becomes the plot twist in their mental soap opera. But don't take it personally. In fact, take it as a compliment. Your energy is so strong, so untamed, that it doesn't need to announce itself. It's felt, it's sensed, and it lingers in the minds of people longer than any word you could have said. Silence in the hands of a spirit warrior is not weakness, it's strategy, it's alignment, it's discernment, it's spiritual armor. Let the world talk, let them guess, let them overanalyze your stillness while you build in secret, grow in peace, and glow in silence. You owe no one an explanation for your calm, and those who demand one, they were never worthy of your truth in the first place, because those who truly see your spirit, not your noise. So keep your mystery. Keep your silence. Let it echo louder than chaos ever could. Point 7, you're a living prophecy. Chosen one, they can't figure you out because you were never meant to fit in. Chosen one, Let's get something straight right now. The reason people can't seem to put their finger on you, label you, or understand your moves is because you were never meant to be understood by the world. You're not here to conform. You're not here to make sense to everyone. You are a divine disruption, a walking, breathing contradiction to what's considered normal. And that's not by accident, that's by divine design. You are a prophecy in motion, a sacred assignment hidden in plain sight. Your life was written long before people had opinions about you, and every twist, every turn, every misunderstanding has only helped to unfold that sacred script. And here's the wild part. People feel your calling, even if they can't explain it. They may not consciously understand what it is about you that makes them stare, whisper, envy, or imitate, but their spirit knows. Their spirit is having a reaction before their logic catches up. That confusion, that obsession, that strange need to monitor you, copy you, or critique your every move. It's spiritual recognition in disguise. You see, the reason they act funny around you isn't always personal, it's prophetic. They saw something glowing inside you before you even knew it was there, before you had the confidence, before the transformation, and even before the healing began. Their spirits caught wind of your purpose. And now that you're rising, now that the fog is clearing and your light can no longer be ignored, their obsession is rising too. They're watching, they're lurking, they're taking notes, and deep down they know they never really had you figured out. It's not that you were hiding, it's that you were evolving, and they mistook your cocoon for your final form. But here you are, emerging like a phoenix, and it's shaking the room. That confusion people have when they talk about you, that whispering, that constant need to downplay your growth. It's coming from the discomfort of witnessing something divine that their ego can't process. You're reminding them of everything they didn't dare become. But here's your challenge. Don't get bitter, get better. Bitterness is a distraction. It keeps you tethered to the very people you've already outgrown. Let them sit with their confusion. Let them fumble with their regret. You've got no time to play small just because they didn't see your greatness coming. And don't you dare dim your light to make anyone more comfortable in their shadows. God doesn't waste enemies. Even your haters are part of the plan. They become the mirrors, the lessons, and the free marketing. While they obsess, you elevate. While they study your steps, you move by divine GPS. Let them wonder. Let them worry. Let them watch you rise, because the anointing on your life was never meant to make sense. It was meant to make history. Spirit warriors, let them obsess. Let them talk. Let them mimic, because their obsession is confirmation of your assignment. You were never sent here to be accepted. You were sent to awaken the atmosphere. Your walk is not ordinary. Your journey is not casual, so the attention you attract won't be either. But don't be discouraged. Don't dim your light. Use their obsession as fuel. Use their gossip as evidence. You're chosen, you're appointed, and you were born to stand out. Remember, they will look, they will watch, they will wonder, but they will never be you. Now go forward in power, stay awake, stay armored, stay godly, because spirit warriors, the world is watching, and heaven is backing you up.